hosts, Brian Higgins and Eric Dungy.
Yeah, we lost Eric somewhere along the way, like a year ago. Love you, Eric. Yeah, we're here though. Bowl game, post game. Phone lines open 315-437-7644. Give a ring for ESPN 44. We're chilling for the next hour or so. We're on your radio. We're on Cuse Sports Talk. We're on the Twitch. We're on the YouTube. We're in the chat. We're on the phones. We're wherever you'd like to be on this fine Friday, soon to be Saturday evening. Here is the Orange. Put the wraps on, it was a little squirrely there at the beginning, but in the end, pure domination of Washington State tonight. 52-35 is your final score here tonight. Kyle McCord set all the records that he was out to set. 453 yards, blows past Deshaun Watson's now long in the rearview ACC single-season passing record, and put up by far enough that Cam Ward in Miami's bowl game, Cam would have to throw for darn near 700 yards. So that record is McCord's. Jackson Meeks got his 1,000. Pena and Gadsden got close. LaQuint Allen became the second player in Syracuse football history with a 20 total touchdown season, going from 17 to 20 today. Only Walter Reyes with 21 and 03 had more in a single season for the Cuse. A huge game for LaQuint. 120 on the ground, going past 1,000 on the year. He also added a ho-hum 45 through the air, so 165 in total offense. And don't forget Darrell Gill, who just grabbed, 145 yards through the air on 4 catches today, as the Orange offense essentially went unstopped and rolling up 606 yards of total offense today. By far the most in bowl game history for Syracuse, just shy top 10 all time in Syracuse history. If that is to be it for Kyle McCord, what a way to go out. What a season. What a season this has been for Syracuse football. My goodness. What a 12 months. What a 13 months this has been through Syracuse football. If you look at back where this program was, I don't know, call it 14 months ago. Let's call it 14 months ago, headed into November of 2023, where Garrett Schrader is hurt. The offensive line is a mess. Syracuse literally cannot throw the ball forward. They can't throw the football forward for a month, and it ends up costing Dino Babers his job. Think about where we were then when that started happening, when that offense with no forward passes was unveiled in Yankee Stadium that day against Pittsburgh. Albeit a win, but it was a sign of how that last month of the season was going to go. And then Fran Brown gets hired. And we're all, who the heck is Fran Brown? And we learn a little bit more. All right, he's a great recruiter. Already has Northeast ties. Okay, but he has no head coaching experience. He has no coordinator experience. How is this going to play? Who is going to play for him? Then all of a sudden, portal opens. Recruiting starts. Kyle McCord. Syracuse is getting Ohio State starting quarterback? And the Ohio State people, hey, you know what, this guy. And Syracuse fans, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We want Kyle McCord. Syracuse wants Kyle McCord. And every Syracuse fan that thought that, and any Syracuse fan that didn't think that, say what? It's hard to believe any Syracuse fan that didn't think they wanted Kyle McCord this year. But, man, oh, man. The dude was unbelievable from the word go. He threw more than 300 yards in all but one game this year. And you look at the way he closed up the season. In the last 3 games, he had a 480 and a 453. In the last 3 games. Plus, he goes out and does what he did to Miami in the regular season finale, putting on what was one of the just pristine quarterbacking performances in Syracuse history. Yeah, there's the waiver out. Yes, there is more than a 0% chance possibility he comes back next year. I can't see it happening. I also can't see him not going to the draft after the way he closed out this season. Forget closed out, after he did it the whole way. But to have this as your capper, if you're McCord, to have this as your capper, to beat Miami at home in the Dome to out-duel Cam Ward, who's going to be the first or second quarterback pick in the draft. And I get it, Washington State's defense was a mess. But then to go out and drop 450 and 5 touchdowns and leave no doubts, putting up 52, season high, Syracuse bowl game high, in your final game as Syracuse quarterback, man, oh man, what a day. What a day, what a season for Fran Brown, for Kyle McCord, and for the Orange, winning 10 games for the first time since 2018, and Eric Dungy for the third time this century, joining 2001. Well, as mentioned, our DWITom.com hotline is open and available to you. Over the course of the next hour, we'll try to get you some Fran Brown as soon as we possibly can from out on the West Coast. 315-437-7644. Let's start the show tonight with our guy Scooter in Jamesville. Hey, Scoot, what's going on?
I still say McCord is the best pure passer in college football. I'll take him over Gabriel because Gabriel can't make all the passes. So we'll find out against Ohio State. But he has trouble sometimes throwing to the sidelines with any velocity. He kind of reminds me of Tua. And it's just a shame, like I said, that he didn't get the publicity early. I guess he finished 10th, which is amazing how he came from that far behind. But look at the passes. I mean, the pinpointing. And thank God that Fran Brown, a defensive guy, just let him loose. And that's the only concern I had starting the season. You get these defensive coordinators. Look at Oklahoma. Look at Nebraska. They kind of want to play defense and be conservative. I got to give Coach Fran Brown, the defensive guy that says, hey, let it rip. And he came from Georgia. When Georgia won their 2 championships, it's because of their quarterbacks. And if you look even at Alabama, when they had to turn around, they had to go to 2 and quarterbacks like that. That's the way you play it now. And look at tonight's game. If you have a sophisticated passing attack, we're not talking Iowa passing attack, but if you have players in multiple going out 4 and 5 in a pattern and have a quarterback just to look with the weakness. Look at Washington State. I tell you that the 3 keys I thought that Washington State's offensive coordinator helped Syracuse out was the second possession when they just went down the field, Brian, passing the ball, and they decided to run the ball twice.
Right.
And they had to punt. And then the 4th and 2 play, right before halftime. They're going to get the ball to start the second half. They tie it up. They might take the lead. And then the field goal down 14. How's that helping you?
Yeah,
I was watching Clemson against Texas.
Yeah, especially when your kicker clearly wasn't very good. Like, neither kicker could put it anywhere near the uprights in this game.
Well, the second field goal, I told everybody, in fact, I'm up at the turning stone for the weekend because it's going to be 2 late nights. He was to the left, and he hooks everything to the left. There's no way in heck he's going to get that second one. And, of course, for entertainment purposes, around 14, that kind of meant something, especially with 14 and a half. I had the team total, right? I mentioned that a long time ago. The man who knows to start that thing, that was the easiest team over for Syracuse. But the bottom line is, if you can pass the ball in today's game, Brian, that's the way to go. And I'm telling you right now, after watching a ton of games, the only way to stop a good passing attack, I'm talking sophisticated, not just 10 guys out, is the pass rush, because no one plays defense. If you look at these bowl games, there's guys running wide open the whole day. And if you can't get to the quarterback, and you got a guy like McCord that will stand in the pocket and drill it, I mean, it's just fun to watch. And, of course, they lived up to the holiday expectations. Holiday Bowl is always the highest scoring bowl. And, by the way, there's going to be a pizza coming your way if the Snoop Bowl is under 79 points. I have a wager that the Scooter Bowl is 79, and now I got Miami, Ohio against Colorado State. I just got to hope Colorado State doesn't go off. And, by the way, if you look at Washington State's defense before these people bailed out, look at the scores. They were giving up a ton of points before this. So this is, at the offense. Actually, I was impressed with Washington State's offense and because of who actually left, but the defense was going to give up that many points no matter who was playing.
Yeah, I mean, their defense wasn't good to begin with. Obviously, Syracuse was a bit depleted. You end up giving up 35, which wasn't great. But, Syracuse wasn't going to stop scoring today, Scooter. I mean, that game, if Kyle McCord had to keep running out there, they would have scored all night long if they needed to.
Well, that was 7-on-7. Basically, it was, as long as he wasn't going to get. Like I said, the only way to stop McCord was the pass rush. And look at the whole year. I mean, unfortunately, Stanford kind of disrupted them a little bit, and of course Pittsburgh did. And and this is the first win that Syracuse had going against an opponent they had more than 2 weeks to prepare. But you look at the regular season, we won every game where the opposition didn't have 2 weeks to prepare for the passing attack. They had to take it in stride, and that includes Miami. So it's just, unfortunately, the Pittsburgh game probably cost them the Heisman. But like I said, he comes back and does this against that schedule next year, I'll guarantee he's winning the Heisman.
I doubt he comes back, but man, if he does, Scooter, we are going to have a fun offseason.
We're going to have some fun times.
To get ready for that. All right, Scoot.
Hey, just out of curiosity, are you happy back for the 2:00 Bucknell game? Or
oh yeah, we'll be rocking here till a little bit about 1, and then when the next time it's 1, we'll be back again, right. Scoot. So we'll be.
I heard you had your onesies, and Jordan didn't bring his onesies this time.
I actually, Scooter, I actually am wearing some fine PJs right now. You know, you gotta uphold the fine reputation of our station here of late night loungewear. So we are good to go in that department.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, there he is, our guy, Scooter. As they're doing the trophy presentation on the field right now. Kyle McCord was just named offensive MVP. Cinco Clark, wearing a giant diamond blinged out Cinco chain, has been named the defensive MVP of the game for his first career Syracuse interception. Dan Villari is probably about to get eggnogged because Fran Brown is allergic to eggs. I don't know about that. All right, let's go back to the phones here and bring in our guy George from Memphis. Hey, George.
Hey, my historical night, obviously, 52 points with no points on the first possession and a missed field goal. I mean, we talked about the quarterback, incredible, historic. Syracuse has outstanding receivers. Mm-hmm. I mean, outstanding receivers and pass catchers, no doubt about it. I like the way you talked about, the 13-month journey, and I got to give some credit to Wildhack. The night of that Georgia Tech close loss, made the decision to terminate very quickly, that the 7 wins were impossible. Talked about the program needs to be doing better. I mean, it was not a garbage can team last year. The year prior was not a garbage can team. But he said we got to be getting better. And it was a strong decision, and it's paid off in dividends. Obviously, defensively, I talked to you earlier in the week. I said if they played okay, they'd probably win. I don't think they even made it to okay tonight, and they still won. Mm-hmm. Fran's got to go out and get himself some defensive players. The defense was not good all year, was not good tonight. You had the best quarterback in college football. I'm going to say something that's a little controversial here, but I actually think this team, with a pretty good defense, could have won the national championship.
I mean, yeah, if you had, obviously it didn't play out that way, and yeah, first-year head coach, but man, if you said you had a mid-pack to upper-pack defense with Kyle McCord, who says you couldn't win the ACC, and then you're in the mix, right? Because if you win the league, you're in the mix for the whole thing.
I mean, the receiving core was able to get separation. They made catches in traffic. Disappointed with the punt block that never got totally corrected, although after Vegas, it really wasn't a problem. It was tonight. And Quentin Allen, what can he say about him? I mean, we ran the ball well tonight. Didn't run it as much as we could have, and for good reasons, but ran the ball well tonight. 10 wins, that's hard to do. It's hard to do with any schedule. Congrats to Coach Brown.
Yeah, great season, George. Great season. Thanks, as always, for the call. Our guy George down in Memphis, Tennessee. The Orange have won a bowl down that way before, home of the Liberty Bowl. Fran Brown getting interviewed on the field right now at the Holiday Bowl as the Orange win it today. They go 10-3 on the year, matching the 10-3 Eric Dungy did in his last year in 2018, matching the 10-3 that R.J. Anderson did back in 2001. R.J. was 10-1 that year, I do think. I believe Troy Nunes absorbed the first 2 losses that season against a very, very tough schedule they played that year. And obviously the schedule next year certainly does loom large, and decisions and thoughts to be made as we wait on any news coming from the mouth of Kyle McCord at some point. I'd imagine still the possibilities on that are slim, but fingers crossed, because, man, I don't care. Even though I don't think it's going to happen, I'm going to, got to 'tis the season, right? Give yourself a chance to believe until it's no good. Because, man, if they bring him back, how many months till the season starts? Woo-hoo! That'd be a fun countdown to start thinking about all those things. But that is something for another day. All right, let's take a break here. Our DWITom.com hotline open when we come back. 315-437-7644. Try to hear for some Fran, hopefully before the end of the show today. Looks like Dan Villari is about to get drenched in eggnog. We'll tell you about that when we come back after this here on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.
Syracuse.
Oh, what's up, Chet? Yes, I am rocking my Bluey PJs. My Bluey Christmas PJs, as one does. So Joey Chestnut and Fran Brown are now about to dump eggnog out of a Gatorade cooler on Dan Villari because Fran says he's allergic to eggs? Oh, Fran threw it the other way. He didn't throw it on Dan. Oh, it's the switch up. He just threw it on the whole team. Oh, switch up. That's a lot of people with eggnog. How many, I don't know what kind of egg allergies are out there. Like, I don't want Fran going into anaphylactic shock. But, like an actual eggnog that you're getting in the carton at the supermarket, like, are you getting an egg reaction if it gets dumped on your head? I got questions. He is not, Zach. Tim Leonard will be doing the basketball game. Yes, later today. We are past midnight. The switch up. The Villari, Fran Brown, Joey Chestnut switch up. Didn't see it coming. Yeah, I wouldn't mind him as the Giants quarterback tomorrow, Alphabet guy. It looks like Fran just tossed it the other way, so whoever was behind him in the front row kind of caught some of it. I'd say probably 10 or 15 guys at least got a little nog. It was hard to see who was closest to the nog situation. That said, come on, Fran. Get the Winters Get Washed t-shirt on. Get the nog. Get somebody to wash it off you immediately. Come on. Marketing. Come on. They cut to Barron quickly after that. I think he absorbed some nog. Jordan's loading something. Okay, yeah, we can. Looks like we got some of the post game. We can from Fox. We can play back. Oh yeah, Jordan can. Yeah, let's do that so the people can see it. Jordan. Well, yeah. So what do we got? We got McCord. Yeah, let's do McCord. Yeah, we'll do the McCord and the Fran. McCord first. Producing. Yeah, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe the guy's, like, deathly allergic to eggs. Like, I don't want to kill Fran Brown. But, yeah, that's a squirrely one. We're talking, like, man. His right hand, Mike McAllister? Fran's son got it? Is egg allergy hereditary? Questions. I have questions. Paulie is not in San Diego, Zach. Paulie will be at the basketball game tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you watch this McCord season and don't and don't draft them decently. I mean, he's going to get picked. How much actual egg is in like refrigerated eggnog for real? Questions.
This is the Burdick Ford, Burdick Toyota, Burdick BMW, and Burdick Lexus postgame show, presented by One Group and Holbrook Heating and Air Conditioning. Call in now on the Tom and Ellie DWITom.com hotline, 315-437-7644.
All right, we got to detail what just went down in this whole eggnog situation. So, the years-long tradition of the thing that for the first time happened last year to Lincoln Riley is that the winning coach of the Holiday Bowl gets doused in a Gatorade cooler of delicious, wonderful eggnog. Shout out to the nog. Wish I had some nog right now. Refreshing. Fran Brown is apparently allergic to eggs, so declined. I guess Dan Villari volunteered to step up at his place. Dan's not afraid of getting out there front and center. Joey Chestnut of hot dog eating fame, for some reason, was involved in this as the honorary eggnog dumper. So Fran and Chestnut, Jaws, no hot dogs to be seen, had the cooler, and they pulled the old switcheroo. They turned it and threw it at all the players behind him. Think like Fidel Diggs and Justin Barrett and maybe Fran's kid, who hopefully does not share the same allergy, caught some of the nog, which sprayed everywhere. Winners get washed indeed. All right, let's go back to our DWITom.com hotline. We'll go slightly to our north. We got Shane in Carthage. Hey, Shane.
Hey, how's everything going, Brian?
Going well.
First-time caller, first-time listener, actually.
Oh, well,
So,
glad you found us here for
sir.
postgame today.
Yes, sir. So I was just checking out the postgame stuff, and you're the first one that came up on YouTube. So I want to congratulate you on your success and everything like that. But my question is, honestly, after this Holiday Bowl game, do you see this team splitting up and fracturing? Like, as far as do we keep the same memento, or do we get all the transfers, more transfers in? Because after this bowl game, because this season has been honestly amazing, and I've been following it. I just moved back to New York from Texas, and I've been following these guys. I mean, Kyle McCord. Everybody's talking about him that is a Syracuse fan, and I feel like nobody's talking about him that is the general media. I feel like he's been downplayed a little bit, but after tonight, it should help his draft stock if he goes. But, Jackson Meeks, he looked great. Allen Jr. looked amazing. I guess my main question is, do you see any of these guys having an amazing, draft capital or anything like that?
Well, I think there's questions. Like, is LaQuinn Allen going to be a high draft pick? No, just not because the way running backs are valued in the league. That said, if he opts to leave, even without that wouldn't surprise me. That'll be news we'll have eyes out for here in the next week or so, I would imagine. The Kyle McCord thing will be interesting. Does he get the waiver? Does he decide to come back? Obviously, that would change the whole tenor of everything. Like, next season's going to be a lot hard. Like, in any circumstance, next season is going to be harder than this with the schedule. But I think, regardless, Shane, I think this has kickstarted some serious momentum, almost regardless of what happens, record-wise next year.
Of course, yeah. But I'll keep keeping on the show, man. I appreciate everything, and God bless everybody listening, and to you as well, sir. All
right, thank you, Shane. Glad you found us on the YouTube. All right, Shane, popping on the YouTube and finding us from not that far away up in Carthage. Hello to the Powells and the Kaufmans and all the fine Carthage residents up there. All right, phone lines remain open, 315-437-7644. Let's check out some of what happened when the on-field ceremony on Fox after the game. They interviewed Kyle McCord. They interviewed Fran Brown because that's who you want to talk to in these scenarios. Here's what went down is Kyle McCord. Hang on. We're standing by. Kyle McCord was named offensive MVP. We'll get to it in a second. Fran Brown, obviously the Victoria's head coach. He talks about Kyle McCord. And, really just cool to see these guys on the national stage. Obviously, Kyle was on the national stage last year at Ohio State, but, it felt like the whole time he was on the national stage, it was like a statue getting crapped on by birds. Like, what the hell did he have to go through last year? This year, to Shane's point, he certainly was properly appreciated in Syracuse. Did that reverberate nationally? Not as much as it should have, that's for sure, even though he did come in 10th in the Heisman voting, though the top two had a majority of the votes by a significant margin this year. Where will he go in the NFL draft? I don't know. Will he have success in the league? I don't know. Like it's hard to do that, though. We saw this year, he played for a guy with NFL roots. Right? When you look at Jeff Nixon, who spent time with the Panthers, spent time with the Giants. Now, albeit, I don't know, didn't win a lot of games there, but Jeff was there. He's at the NFL. He worked with Saquon Barkley. He worked with Christian McCaffrey. We saw the offense they ran this year. We all thought, because he worked with those guys, the offense was going to be LaQuint Allen and then this year. And then we watched the first game. We're like, oh, I think they gave us the old okie doke on that one. I think they gave us the old turnaround on that one, huh? Because game one, possession one, McCord's just boom, boom, boom. We're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, well, maybe that was one half, one possession. Nope. One game? Nope. 1 month? No. And LaQuint had a great season, over 1,000 yards, back-to-back seasons. If LaQuint comes back next year, he's got a chance to become the first Syracuse running back ever to have 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. But the tale of this season was about Kyle McCord. Here was Kyle speaking with Joel Klatt, I do believe, post-game, receiving his offensive MVP honors.
Proud to announce the offensive MVP from the Syracuse Orange, number 6, quarterback Kyle McCord.
Kyle, congratulations, my man. Kyle, you threw for 5 touchdowns tonight, but more importantly, Kyle McCord tonight, with his performance, set a single season ACC passing record for most yards in a single season. Kyle, what does that mean to you, man?
It means the world, man. Come here a year ago and just to see how it all worked out, it's exactly what you said it would be. And to be standing on the stage with 10 wins with these guys behind me, it means the world.
You and I have a bit of history. Covered you, obviously, at your last place. This has been a terrific fit. You've talked about Coach Fran and these teammates of someone that has just allowed you to come alive this year. Tell us about your fit at Syracuse.
Yeah, this time last year, didn't know what it was going to be. Was in the portal, didn't know, what the next step would be. And Coach Fran sat in my living room and, basically gave me the keys to his program. And just like I said, see it all play out 12 months later with these guys, man, you can't script that any better.
Listen, it's been a pleasure covering you here in college football. You did a tremendous job, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, there was Kyle McCord post-game. Joel Klatt on the Fox broadcast that many of us were watching tonight with Gus Johnson. And Gus, who's still somebody's going to have to break the news to Gus about Grimaldi's. I love me some Grimaldi's. It's a tough break for Gus there. But good stuff there. And then after that, Fran Brown would talk to Joel after receiving the championship trophy for the game tonight.
It's genuine. Not only our conversations, but being around your guys, the way that they love you and your coaching staff, but also each other. It's a special group, and we saw that play out on the field tonight. Tell us about some of these leaders and specifically getting Kyle to come here and what he meant to your program.
Kyle means everything. He's everything to us. Like we've said from the beginning, I'm the head football coach. Kyle had the keys. So Kyle was like literally second in command right after myself because both sides of the ball, including special teams, all 3 had to like the quarterback. And he's done an amazing job. We were all comfortable with following him. He does the right thing day in and day out. This kid has never been late to a class, never missed a class, never been late into the building. He just leads by example. He's the first one in. He's the first one out. He's just the ultimate teammate. He's the ultimate brother. His mom and dad, Derek and Stacy, they did an amazing job. And just when it comes to JB, Marlowe, OG, Bradford, Savion, Fidel Diggs, Meeks, it's just so many of these dudes that just leave everything out there. Clay Master, Josh Kabbalah, like these guys are just amazing, man. We're a great team, and we're just thankful and happy that we had the opportunity to come out here and compete in the Holiday Bowl. It was truly a blessing, and just thank you so much.
All right, Fran Brown receiving the trophy and talking there with Joel Klatt. So, as mentioned earlier here, so the I hesitate to call this a tradition. The second annual Holiday Bowl post-game head coach eggnog dump with Grandmaster Joey Chestnut or whatever the heck they were trying to pull off. God bless the Holiday Bowl. It's no Pop-Tarts. The Pop-Tarts Bowl now has sprinkles on the sideline. It looks awesome. Here is Fran and how things went down with the nog.
Tradition of the Holiday Bowl is that the coach gets an eggnog bath.
I'm allergic to eggs, so what happened was Dan Villari, he took an NIL deal from Myers Creek, so Dan Villari would do that, and I'm very thankful that he was able to do that. I just don't want to break out on a plane in the morning or never make it back home and be in the local hospital. So Dan Villari, where you at, fam?
Wait, guys, is he allergic to eggs, really? Okay, there we go. So Dan Villari is going to step in, and we have got our chief eggnog official, Joey Chestnut, is going to be delivering the eggnog, right? Here we go. Right here. Do you want the poncho, or are we just... No poncho. We're good. He's got an NI deal for this. We're good with it. All right, Joey Chestnut, chief eggnog official.
Congratulations, Coach Brown. I'm gonna hand it off to you. You're gonna give the best. Choose which players you want to dump it on.
Honestly, I would like for, let me see this, because this is a good deal. Excuse me, I got it.
Don't you do it on me.
I know, watch out, buddy.
All right, the Dan Villari. So Dan Villari got NIL'd up from Myers Creek, and he didn't even have to get dunked in nog. Well, I think he was not so secretly looking forward to it. What a day for Dan Villari, getting some cash and not getting covered in eggnog. How about that? Oh, man, bowl games. Gotta love them. All right, let's get a call in before the break again. Anytime we hear from Fran Brown on our post-game coverage, as always, it's brought to you by our friends at William Mattar. Hurt in a car. Call William Mattar at 444-4444. With that, we go back to the phone lines and bring in our guy, Stefan from Utica. Stefan, hello.
Well, hello, Brian, and congratulations to the Syracuse football Orange. It was a great season, one of the best in a long time, and let's keep it going, and hopefully there'll be more of these celebrations to come.
That is the hope, Stefan. It's a lot more fun this way, is it not, than some of the years we've been through, huh?
Yes, it is. And hopefully Fran Brown is here for a long time after this. And hopefully, and I just want to congratulate the Syracuse football community and the team and the personnel and everyone in the area for all the support, and it was a great season had by all.
That it was, Stefan. Well said. Thanks as always for the call, our guy Stefan in Utica. And man, it was a great season. This was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun this season. Fran Brown made it fun. Winning made it fun. Kyle McCord made it fun for the most part. Like all the guys that we got to deal with in various capacities made it fun. The fact that I did not just have eggnog dumped on my head, that made it fun. Who were the man? The guy, I'm looking up the roster here because it was not a number I was immediately familiar with. Man, redshirt sophomore offensive lineman Carter Clark, who is definitely a person on the Syracuse football team, absorbed the brunt of that eggnog. Man, you pay for ended up in the front row when there's an eggnog dump to be going on. Some dude we haven't heard of wore the nog. Dan Villari getting papered up from Myers Creek. We'll take a break. Our DWITom.com phone lines remain open as we continue here late night. 315-437-7644. The Orange run away with the Holiday Bowl 52-35. McCord and the Orange offense could not be stopped all night long. More to come after this here on Cuse Sports Talk at ESPN Radio. Yeah, Ryan, for the size of the, how much nog was in there? Eggnog's expensive these days. Yes, Paulie made it fun. Yeah, I hope Villari already cashed that check. Yeah. Kyle. Yeah, these are new Christmas PJs. I don't want to ruin them with nog. Yeah, Crunch dominated up in Laval. Yeah, huge cooler, like maybe a half gallon. All right, Tim. Oh my, the phones have gone wild. Oh yeah, if Kyle dropped that on that stage, could you imagine? Kind of want to go to Grimaldi's. Could go for some veal parm, I'll tell you. Yeah, that'll be amazing. Fran Brown's been just playing. Fran Brown researched everything that gets dumped on bowl game winning coaches when he took the job, and now he's allergic to everything. I don't know. Well, we got it all. Yeah. Here's my new theory. That Fran Brown has researched everything that bowl game coaches get dumped on their heads. And when he took the job, he's just slowly sneaking it in to the team that he's allergic to all these different things. I bet he's suddenly allergic to mayo.
Can we talk about, Fran Brown, players coach? I don't know how public this is. I don't really think it matters at this point. I mean, if you're watching this, there's a chance you heard. There was stuff early in the season about Valari and NIL and him being upset.
Yeah.
Fran goes out and at the end of the season,
national
dude can't
TV.
play in the game and finds a way to get him some extra money
on national TV, and then he throws the nog on other people.
I mean, Fran's just a dude. Valari's I don't think there's an avenue he could come back. Honestly, he wasn't used that often this year. When he dropped a lot of passes. Fran went out of his way to be I got you, buddy. That's a dude. Was it George earlier or was it before him who asked, is it going to be fractured? Are guys going to come play for him? I don't know how in the world you can see what happened, watch that, and not just be lining up begging to come play here. And Fran's I want high school guys. I want guys who'll be here for a while. It's crazy.
Is Fran Brown allergic to Pop-Tarts?
I don't know.
There's got to be eggs in the pastry part. Right?
Shout out to the players though. They're yeah, he's allergic. Yeah,
I got Ed his back on that quick.
We weren't told to say that.
Joel Klatt was all right. I've never heard of anyone allergic to eggnog before.
What a guy. Now we gotta go back to his earlier.
Has he been slowly dropping hints about his eggnog allergy?
Well, I don't know, but he's talked about routines and what he eats and this and that. So I wonder if he's ever slipped up and been I have eggs in the morning, blah blah blah.
No, we know he does. He waits till the end of his meals to drink.
Yeah,
and
that's why he didn't have a meal
because he hasn't washed down the eggs.
This post-game show presented by One Group and Holbrook Heating and Air Conditioning. Call in now on the Tom and Ellie DWITom.com hotline, 315-437-7644.
Oh, we're rocking it late night. We got you on the radio. We got you on Cuse Sports Talk. We got it on the Twitch. We got it on the YouTube. Wherever you are, we got you there. As mentioned, the phone lines are open and available at 315-437-7644. You actually might have to wait a second. The phone lines are jammed. They're full here at 12:30 in the a.m. It's only 9:30 at night where our next caller is. We go to Sam, who's from Pittsburgh, but is currently out in San Diego, having just enjoyed the bowl game. Sam, how you doing?
Brian,
This is a glorious conclusion to a beautiful season. It was just wonderful today. Wonderful performance by both football teams, despite all the craziness that Washington State went through. But at the end of the day, the cream rose to the top, or the orange rose to the top. And I got good news. If your name is Dan Villari, or for whatever reason you find yourself soaked in eggnog, all you got to be is a Syracuse fan, because guess what? Winners get washed.
There you go. There you go, Sam. Fun night for you, I'm sure, out there at the ball game tonight.
Tremendous night and wonderful accommodations. Everybody in San Diego was just incredibly accommodating and welcoming. We inherited a number of fans, I think, because Washington State defeated San Diego State at their home field where we played tonight. And going through the parade today with the band, we had a number of cat calls that were very positive, saying, they beat us, so you need to beat them on our behalf. And we said, happy to do it. Go Orange. And they were all behind us. Very wonderful time. What a glorious experience. Thank you for a beautiful year, Brian. This has been magical.
All right. Thank you for the call as always, Sam. Good to talk to you, Sam. A marching band parent who's been with us all season long. And what a way to head out the end of this year, heading with a marching band out to San Diego. Good stuff there from Sam. It didn't occur to me they'd absorbed the San Diego State fans due to earlier victories by others. All right, let's keep it moving. Sean in Cicero is up next. Hey, Sean, welcome in.
Hey, Brian. Thanks for letting me come on tonight. Dude, that was such a great game. I can't believe. I mean, there was a certain point where I looked at it and I was like, and I was like, nope, I'm not even worried about it. They're going to take it. They're going to take it. My wife came downstairs, looked at the score, and she goes, they're tied. And I'm like, calm down. We got it. We got it. I can't believe how Kyle McCord just swung this team in such a different direction this year. It's crazy. I mean, I am so excited. But the thing is next year, I hope, being a fan, I'm 49 years old, being a fan for 40 years, that people don't backtrack on Fran Brown. They have such a hard schedule next year coming up, and if McCord doesn't come back, which he probably won't, I hope that the team will truck forward, and I think they will. I think all the positivity in my bones that these guys will truck forward. I just wanted to call in and say congratulations to Syracuse, and man, what an exciting game.
That it was, Sean. Thank you for the call. And, yeah, I'd say that's the hope, because Sean's point is correct, and we'll certainly dive into this in the next weeks and months for sure. Next year's schedule is I've never seen a Syracuse football schedule that looks like this in advance. Now, clearly, this never could have happened before due to this is the first year it's happened. Syracuse is playing a third of the college football playoff next year, and they're playing none of them in the Dome. It's crazy. Like, the road schedule next year is bonkers. And if you get McCord back. But that said, Fran Brown has shown so far, like, he don't care about that. He doesn't care about that talk. All right, say next year's tougher. Say they go, I don't know, 5-7, 6-6. Say compared to this year, it's a tough year. It could be. I don't think Fran's going to shy away from that. I don't think Fran's going to shirk that. He'll face up to it, and hopefully people understand what it is if that's the case next year, because as great as this year was, the Kyle McCord factor is extremely hard to replicate. To go into the portal and pull out Ohio State's 11-1 starting quarterback, who then comes to you and sets the conference single-season passing yardage record? Like, though, that's not stuff that happens all the time. That would have to be a lightning strikes twice situation. Now, there's plenty of other ways. Build up quarterbacks, build up the roster. Like, there's plenty of other ways to win and win big. But the McCord lightning bolt this year is going to be significantly hard to replicate. That said, they're on great footing here. Great footing. I mean, nobody's had a better year one than this in many ways. Like, Coach P went 10-2, and that was fantastic. I don't want to say this is a butt. This is nothing against Coach P. Like, they were set up to run. They took over a program that was humming and Coach P was here, and he worked with Mac, and they had Marvin Graves. Like it was ready to go. This was anything but. This was, yes, back-to-back bowl teams, but it was raggedy. You didn't have a quarterback. Half the roster turned over, and then they did this. All right, let's get another call in. Here is Steve from North Syracuse. Hey, Steve.
Yeah, this was our third 10-win season of this century.
Yep.
The other two seasons were followed up with 4 and 8 and 5 and 7, and it'll be interesting to see if we can do better than that next year. This was our third trip to the West Coast, and we played substantial teams in each case, and we won all 3 games. I think that's an impressive thing. If this was Kyle McCord's last game, then we're sure going to miss him because we may get some good quarterbacks in here, but I don't think we'll get a guy that can put the ball right on the money the way McCord can anytime soon. He developed a reputation for being kind of a short and intermediate passer, but in this game, he completed 24 passes for 453 yards. That's 19 yards per completion, and got 5 touchdowns after it. So he's perfectly capable of going deep if that's what you want. I would also give tremendous credit to our receiving corps. McCord is wonderful, but I think our guys would make anybody look good at the same time. Gill's a young guy with a great potential. Meeks was absolutely wonderful this year and a really tough guy to cover, and came down with so many 50-50 balls. And Gadsden was a wonderful target, and Pena had an incredible year, and LaQuinn Allen caught 60-plus passes, so it was a wonderful confluence of having a great quarterback and a great receiving corps that got us what we wanted. We wound up beating 3 teams that had 10 or more wins on the season, and we played only 2 teams that wound up with losing records. One was California, the other, unfortunately, was Stanford, and they were by far the worst record of any team. We had 3 and 9, and we managed to lose to them, which was frustrating, but it's still been a fine season. I'd also like to give some credit to our defensive line, who just stuffed their running attack. It hardly seemed like the same defense we saw a couple months ago against Boston College, and hopefully that holds hope for the future that we're going to have a tougher defense than I think we showed sometimes this year.
Yeah, and certainly there's been a lot of time spent in the portal and in freshman recruiting on getting some more bulk up front. So we'll see if that, Steve, can take place as we go along into the future for sure. All right, Steve, thanks as always for the phone call. Our guy Steve in North Syracuse, and yeah, Steve is right. 0-1, they go 10-3. They started that year 0-2, right? It was they lost to what? It was Georgia Tech and Auburn, I think, back to back. The Auburn game was crazy, multi-overtime game. They go to R.J. Anderson. He rips off whatever it was, 8-9 wins in a row, get absolutely shellacked by the best team I've ever seen, that 0-1 Miami team. But you do that, you got decent hopes. You had R.J. Anderson coming back. You had Walter Reyes. You had Dwight Freeney was gone, but you had a pretty good core, it looked like, coming back next season. And Syracuse started 1-7 or something terrible. Just fell apart to start the next year. Did beat top 10 Virginia Tech, but finished 4-8. Then Coach P still had a couple more years after that. You go to 2018, that year it just felt like such a culmination. It was Dungy, and then like all these guys were gone. You thought you were turning a page. You had DeVito. You had this. Unfortunately, you didn't have an offensive line, and you didn't have enough weapons. And while you had DeVito, he's still in the league. He couldn't time, room. He ended up, whatever it is, seeing ghosts. It wasn't seeing ghosts. He was seeing actual people coming to take his head off, and then it fell apart. And then Garrett Schrader and whatever, it turned out better. But, man, hopefully this year is the start. It felt like 2018, and that could have been the start, and it wasn't. Hopefully this year is the start. All right. Kyle McCord from his post-game press conference. Quote, "If I do get that extra year, we'll see. Both are great options." All right. The door is still ajar. The door is still open. When will he find out about that? I don't know. Will he find out about that based on how the NCAA works before he actually has to make a decision on the other thing? I don't know. The NFL's a great option, though, man. That's what he's always wanted his whole life. You know, we had Kyle in here every week all year. It was great getting to know him a little bit. Obviously, you do more than talk on air and those things. You chat it up, in and out and around it. And I think he had a fantastic time here in Syracuse. I think he loved everything he made about this decision to come to Syracuse, play for Fran Brown. It could not have worked out any better for Kyle McCord. I also think he really would want to go to the NFL. And I wonder if it would be different if he had known before the year he had another year. If this 5-game thing his freshman year had been 4 games and the decision could have been made differently in the past. I don't know. My guess is he's headed to the draft, and I think in that case you can't begrudge him. You can only celebrate him, but he's going to keep us on pins and needles until we find out the answer. We're just going to stare at Twitter and our phones and TVs and whatever. All of our radio shows, because we're going to be talking about it nonstop until we get an answer on this question from Kyle McCord, because it's the most interesting thing we got going on around here right now. Sorry, basketball team. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Yes, there is a basketball game tomorrow. It's closing on 1. We'll be back on the air at 1. That'll be nice and symmetrical coming up here in a few. All right, let's get our last break out of the way. Phone lines remain open with our DWITom.com hotline if you want last licks at it at 315-437-7644. We'll come with our final thoughts on the season and your final calls after this here on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. That's my sense, Adam, on YouTube. That's my sense. Oh, where'd my mouse go? I've lost my mouse. They are both good options for Kyle, because I think, legitimately, if Kyle comes back, he's going to get NIL, he'll get paid. And the NFL dream doesn't go away if he comes back. Now, he could have a worse year next year because of the schedule, and then maybe you slide in the draft. That's possible. But I think Kyle, legitimately, especially compared to the crap he dealt with last year at Ohio State, I think he legitimately enjoyed playing here. I think he, especially with all the crap he dealt with at Ohio State, he legitimately enjoyed the love he got from the fan base here. And we liked his chips. They were delicious. Back there, his chips. Maybe we'd get a new flavor if he comes back next year. He can diversify in the chip business. And I think legitimately he really likes playing for Fran Brown. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And, yeah, if Kyle McCord comes back, he is shortlisted one of the Heisman favorites to start the year. Plus, it would be the most anticipated build-up to a Syracuse football season. Period. End of story. Leading into that Tennessee game, pandemonium. Be wild. But yeah, his NIL would, I think he did quite fine this year. But my goodness. I wonder where this Greg on YouTube was when he thinks he was in Martinsburg. Morgantown, Greg? Were you in West Virginia? West by God, Virginia? Where were you? Yeah, it worked great for us, Jen. Yeah, Marlo. Shout out to Marlo. Hopefully he hooks on in the NFL. So he'll be a fringe roster guy, but look at Zaire. He's leading the NFL in tackles. You can do that in Morgantown, Randy. Morgantown's a crazy place, man. I miss playing West Virginia. Them country roads are different now. If Kyle comes back, I want eggnog chips. Eggnog chips. Eggnog chips sounds kind of heinous. I'd try them. I like eggnog ice cream. Zaire's a little bigger than Marlowe. Zaire's bigger than Marlowe. Not a lot, but he's bigger. He's a little thicker and a little taller. I doubt Marlowe gets actually drafted, but he'll be in a camp, and he's got a shot to make it. He's a good player. Yeah, Ryan, they said a lower body something. I don't know what the deal was. That was a right before kickoff surprise. He was wearing quite the chain, though. I don't know if he had something minor he needed taken care of postseason or what.
Toyota, Burdick BMW, and Burdick Lexus postgame show presented by One Group and Holbrook Heating and Air Conditioning. Call in now on the Tom and Ellie DWITom.com hotline, 315-437-7644.
All right, last couple of minutes with you here today as we put the wraps on the football season. We'll be discussing it plenty over the course of the days and weeks for sure, and all our various shows. Do we have any orange insight powered by Staff Leasing today? Yeah, here's some insight. Kyle McCord, go to football. You want some insight? He's the ACC all-time passing leader for a single season, leaving some guy named Deshaun Watson in the dust. ACC may be pleased that old Deshaun ain't atop the old record books anymore. Deshaun also did it. Now, here's how good of a season and how prolific a season Kyle McCord had. He passed Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, Deshaun Watson, the last three he passed in order today, and set the record on a 50-yard bomb on the money to Darrell Gill, who had an unbelievable game today. And talk about, hey, you're losing Meeks, Payne's coming back, you're losing Gadsden. Darrell Gill's like, let's go. I'm here. But Kyle McCord played 13 games this season. Matt Ryan, the year he's on the list, now in third place all-time in the league. He made the conference title game in a bowl game. He played 14 games. Deshaun Watson that year played 15 games, conference title game, and they won the playoffs. His last pass was the pass that won Clemson the national title that year, so not taking anything away from the on-field exploits for sure. Kyle McCord passed them all in 13 games. 13 games. He was fantastic. All right, let's get last call in here. It looks like on our DWITom.com hotline at 315-437-7644. We'll bring in Matt in East Syracuse. Hey, Matt, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, man, what a game. I know that was a depleted Washington State team, but, man, you can't help but just be so impressed with what Kyle McCord has done this year and what he's done for this program. I mean, if you watch him this entire season from beginning to end, if that doesn't get butts in the seats next year to sell out the Dome, I mean, what else will? And as far as I'm concerned, if he does get to come back next year, and God forbid, we can't trust the NCAA with anything, but if he does get to come back next year, that's got to be the most anticipated season opener in recent history for Syracuse to go. I mean, I'm already looking for tickets in Atlanta to that Tennessee game. I'll absolutely be there.
Yeah, I mean, that game's obviously if you're going in without McCord, it's a little different because of what Tennessee is going to be bringing to bear. If for some reason, Matt, that he's available for that game, yeah, that would be the most anticipated season opener that I can think of. I mean, you go back to what McNabb, like the '97 game that is referenced often by Fran Brown, the game down in the Meadowlands with Donovan McNabb, Donovan Darius, where they shut down Ron Dane. Like, I mean, it would be really, really short list, most anticipated season opener that I can recall, and it might be number one on the list, all things considered, given the excitement of this year.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The '90s with McNabb, and obviously those great seasons. But man, what a year! We're not used to this with football. I mean, it's been a while. We were used to it for a little while. It went away for a long time, and God, glad to have it back. Thanks, Brian.
All right, thank you, Matt. And yeah, it would be. I'm trying to think. Like, it would be shortlist most anticipated opener. What was Tennessee in '98? Was that the opener? But that's a little shaded in hindsight, because that Tennessee game, I clicked on the wrong year. I clicked on 19. I'm not looking at 1999. 98. Was that the opener or was that the second game? Was Tennessee the opener? Tennessee was the opener. Here's the thing. It's a bit revisionist history. Now, it was anticipated because, yeah, Tennessee was coming to the Dome. It's McNabb's senior year. Like, that was a very anticipated game. And Tennessee did win the national championship that year. But Peyton Manning was gone. It was like, who's T. Martin? What the heck is this? It was a very anticipated game. The 97 opener, Ron Dane, coming off the major season. I think he was coming off the 2,000-yard season, and Syracuse shut him down in the Meadowlands. Anticipated opener. And a lot of anticipated openers back then. But I think, Fran Brown excitement, Kyle McCord excitement, if he were to come back. I think this, and given just the difference in the world now with social media and everything that goes on in hype, in anticipation for a season, I think it would blow the doors off that if he comes back. It's going to be anticipated and exciting if he doesn't come back. If for some reason he comes back, my, oh my, oh my. You want to talk about, as we wrap up, improving the team from Wadham's Enterprises? I've got the fastest way to improve Syracuse for next year. Kyle McCord comes back. End of plan. That's my whole plan. I don't have a second plan. It's not a great plan. It's not a high percentage plan. That is the entirety of the plan. That's the entirety of the plan. Wadham's Enterprises improving their team. They have home daily CDLA driving positions available for experienced drivers and also offers CDLA training at no cost with a job waiting upon completion. All right, that's going to wrap up our post game here today. Schedule for tomorrow, basketball at 2 versus Bucknell. It's closing on 1. 1 seems like a good time to start the next show. We'll be on the air 1 o'clock for pregame tomorrow before Cuse and Bucknell. Post game after, including Red Autry's full post game press conference. What do we got upcoming this week? Monday, there's Orange Nation. Monday, I'll be off Monday. Cody's off all week. Tuesday, there's basketball, 2 o'clock tip with Wake Forest. Tim Leonard's got you covered with pre and post for that. And then we'll be back, Orange Nation and myself, in the 315 to ring in the new year on Thursday afternoon, the 2nd. And then we'll be back on the old regular schedule. All right, get some sleep. 12 hours. We're back at it. Talk to you tomorrow, everybody, here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.
The 315 with Brian Higgins.
If you boo high school kids at high school games, what kind of human being are you? If you boo professional athletes at professional games, all